Would you please rise for the marching of the colors and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation?
Let us pray. Eternal God, in whom we live, move, and have our being, give to us each day all that is necessary to do your will, to fulfill our calling, and pass on to the next generation that which is good, true, and beautiful. We thank you for a half-century of excellence given to this community and the world. We praise your name for the leadership and all of those who have shared in this remarkable experience. Bless, we pray, our new president as he stands on great shoulders, leading us into the future with vision, faith, hope, and love of learning. Be with him in all of his deliberations, decisions, and actions. Hear our prayer, incline your ear unto us, and grant us your grace. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Moss, for offering the invocation. Also, thanks to Professor Kara Seaton for leading us in the singing of the national anthem. Members of Cuyahoga Community College Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, administrators, students, families, and guests, welcome. This afternoon is dedicated to the investiture of the fourth president of Cuyahoga Community College, Dr. Alex Johnson. This ceremony of inauguration is an important tradition and a high point in the college's history. It is, in fact, a time to celebrate our hopes and dreams for the future. Cuyahoga Community College is beginning its fifth decade of providing higher education and the training that's aligned with the needs of our students and community. We strive for academic excellence and are proud of our heritage. At the same time, we look forward to the future and the new challenges that we face in educating the leaders and the scholars of tomorrow. Our stage party includes esteemed members of state and local leadership, members of our Board of Trustees, college leadership and clergy. Also join us on stage is this year's faculty marshal, Professor Donna Homenko, Joint Faculty Chair Mary Hovanek, and Board Student Scholar Sharon Clark. In our audience, we are joined by members of our executive leadership, campus presidents, deans, faculty, constituent group representatives, delegates from colleges and universities in Ohio and nationally, along with locally elected officials. Thanks to all of you for spending this historic afternoon with us. In the interest of time, I'm going to introduce the next few speakers altogether. You could sit. I'm sorry.
I think you forgot that.
That's great leadership, Dr. Johnson. First, the Chancellor of the Ohio Board of Regents, John Kerry, who served 9 years in the Ohio House of Representatives, 8 years in the Ohio Senate. Prior to this work, Mr. Kerry was mayor of the city of Wellston in Jackson, Colorado. Following Chancellor Kerry will be Ken Surratt, Special Assistant to the County Executive, Ed Fitzgerald. Mr. Fitzgerald couldn't be with us today, so we're happy to have Mr. Surratt, who's had a career focusing on education and youth development. Mr. Surratt is currently overseeing the launch of the largest public college savings account program in the country, where every incoming kindergarten student in Cuyahoga County will have a savings account open for them with an initial deposit of $100. Next is Mayor Frank Jackson, one of our most distinguished alumni, who we congratulate on his recent reelection to a third term as mayor of Cleveland. We were especially pleased that he was recently quoted as saying that education is a regional concern that should be approached in the same way with the same vigor as a regional economy. Following the mayor is Senator Nina Turner, another distinguished alumni and an assistant professor of history at Cuyahoga Community College. She was a former Cleveland City Councilwoman. Currently, she serves the people of Cuyahoga and Lake counties in the Ohio Senate. She's a Senate Minority Whip and the ranking member on the Insurance and Financial Institutions Committee and the Finance Subcommittee on Education. Now, please join me in welcoming Chancellor John Kerry.
It is indeed an honor to be here today to congratulate Dr. Johnson and the Cuyahoga Community College on this auspicious occasion. On behalf of the Ohio Board of Regents and the state of Ohio, I would like to welcome everyone this afternoon as we celebrate the inauguration of the fourth president of Cuyahoga Community College, Dr. Alex Johnson. I know the community is thrilled to have Dr. Johnson back at Tri-C. In the time that I've spent with him, I've been impressed with his dedication to and passion for this school and the role it can play in preparing students for a bright future here. His emphasis on quality and accessibility for students will serve Cuyahoga Community College well as it celebrates its 50th anniversary and looks forward to the next 50 years. Our community colleges play a vital role within the university system of Ohio, and each must have a leader who can relate equally to the college's mission on an academic level and its students on a personal level. President Johnson does both very well. Now more than ever, Cuyahoga Community College and other members of the university system of Ohio must work together to increase college access, affordability, and completion. The overarching goal of the Board of Regents is simple. We aim to increase the number of Ohioans with the degrees and certificates needed to create and retain jobs in Ohio. The future of our state's economy depends on it, and I know that President Johnson and Cuyahoga Community College are ready and willing to contribute to this effort and provide students with the education needed to become part of a skilled workforce and educated community. The Board of Regents looks forward to continuing our relationship with President Johnson and seeing where his efforts and leadership will take Cuyahoga Community College and our state in the years ahead. Congratulations, President Johnson. We wish you well, and we'll be there as a partner as you move forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to share the stage with such a distinguished group. The county executive sends his regrets that he's unable to be here today, but he wanted me to share his excitement in not just welcoming, but welcoming back Dr. Alex Johnson to Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C and the county work closely together on many initiatives. Of course, a focus that we share is increasing the post-secondary graduation rates here within the county through programs like the Higher Education Compact led by the mayor and our College Savings Account program, but also initiatives that focus on workforce development. These programs are important because they retrain and retool our workforce to fill jobs that will not only boost our local economy, but also give financial security to our residents. I just want to share one quick story that I think explains why I'm looking forward to working with Dr. Johnson. Recently, we had a meeting in his office, and I was perusing his bookcase. And of course, on there were many teaching and education books, but also ones on innovation and leadership. And I reflected for a moment and thought, that's what Cuyahoga Community College is getting in its new president. It's getting someone that is an educator, an innovator, and a leader that will continue to build upon the success that Cuyahoga Community College has already achieved, that makes it a model, not just across the state, but across the nation. Again, I'd just like to welcome Dr. Johnson back, and on behalf of the county executive, wish him well as the 4th president of Cuyahoga Community College. Thank you.
Good afternoon. You know, have had a long and engaging relationship with community college. I lived down the street. I was a student here at this campus. I graduated from community college. And when I became the councilman of Ward 5, in which this campus sits, I had an opportunity to work with Dr. Johnson on many different things, whether it was him being involved on the board of a local development corporation, helping me to develop programs around at-risk children, developing computer literacy in the public housing estates across the street, all these things that I've worked with Dr. Johnson on. And then he left. But he's back. He's back. So, Doctor, I want to welcome you back. Welcome you back, and I look forward to working with you in the future on many, many things, and great success to you. Thank you.
Greetings, good afternoon. It is my distinct honor to be here this afternoon for Dr. Johnson's inauguration. I am an alumna of Cuyahoga Community College, and I was fortunate enough to be a student here at this beloved institution when Dr. Johnson was the campus president, and his students fondly called him Dr. J. When I was here in the early 90s, Dr. Johnson, as well as Dr. Jerry Sue Thornton, and I'm going to tell you something, I was blessed to have two extraordinary leaders who really gave of themselves for the students. But for Dr. Johnson, he had some activist students here in the 90s. I certainly was not one of those students. I was a shy, bright-eyed, determined young lady. Dr. Johnson was not only a mentor to me, he was a mentor to many of my classmates. And when you look at the sea of the young people who have come through the halls of Cuyahoga Community College where futures begin, Dr. Johnson has certainly left an indelible mark upon all of us. And in many ways, along my path, he was a lamp post, whether he realizes that or not. And he can share in all of the success that I've had thus far, although I am still not sure what I want to be when I grow up. When I thought about how to describe Dr. Johnson, I went back to a sermon that was given by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1958 when he talked about and tried to surmise what is man. His sermons were so fierce that it was turned into a book called The Measure of a Man. Dr. King in this book described the essence of man. He said it's about the length of life, the individual person's push to realize their ambition. He talked about the breadth of life, the concern for others, and a realization of our interdependence, that we are indeed our brothers and our sisters' keepers. And then Dr. King talked about the heart of life, the love of God. Dr. Johnson personifies all of those attributes. As the president of the Metro campus, he used his gifts to impart in the students who walked across this campus, many of us from challenging backgrounds, that we could do what Helen Keller commanded us to do when she said, one must never consent to creep when one feels the urge to soar. Dr. Johnson personifies the breath of life, the concern and care and guidance that he poured into the students of this campus, and we are fortunate enough now to have him as the leader of the entire college. He personifies the height of life, that the ministry that God has given him is one of the greatest equalizers that we have on the face of the earth, and that is to be able to allow young people and not so young people to live out their greatest greatness through the power of education. What is the measure of a man? It is about service, it is about courage, and oh my God, it is about having a little bit of swag. Dr. Johnson has all of that. What is the measure of a man? It is the ability to lift while you climb. What is the measure of a man? You see it in Dr. Alex Johnson. I am so glad that he has decided to come back home. God bless you, Dr. Johnson.
It's my pleasure to bring to the podium Cuyahoga Community College's board student scholar, Sharon Clark. Please welcome Mrs. Clark.
Good afternoon, everyone. And indeed, it is a great honor to stand before such an awesome stage party. I look forward to chatting with them afterwards. Again, my name is Sharon Clark, and I'm a full-time student here at the Cuyahoga Community College, and I'm a board student scholar representative of the Board of Trustees. In the fall of 2011, I decided to return to college after being in the child care business for over 20 years. My return has been very rewarding since enrolling in the liberal arts degree program at Cuyahoga Community College. Truly, this is an institution where futures and dreams begin. On behalf of all of the students at Cuyahoga Community College, it is an honor and privilege to have this opportunity to welcome home our new college president, Dr. Alex Johnson. Dr. Johnson not only desires for the students' dream to become reality, but the students' dream take wings to flight and begin to soar. This is the tireless and strong leadership that has enabled thousands of students to pursue their college education and the American dream. For this, we are extremely grateful. Today certainly commemorates the confidence in your ability to build and expand upon a tremendous legacy. Welcome back, Dr. Johnson, and thank you.
It is my pleasure and honor to welcome Dr. Alex Johnson on behalf of the faculty. It is traditional in an inauguration for faculty to share with a new president a sense of the history and common mission of an institution, to welcome the president by providing him with a compass pointing in the direction of our students' needs, and to embrace the charge that his new vision gives to us. However, Dr. Johnson is not new to the college, is acutely aware of our mission, and shares our vision for student success. As a faculty, we measure our success by the successful steps our students take, embracing an education, making sense of the world, and acting within it in productive and creative ways. We are dedicated to challenging our students to be interested in learning and to become interesting people. But the seas of education are changing, and higher education in particular has become a vast and complicated ocean. There are big fish and little fish, and increasingly Darwinian pressures on survival and completion. Dr. Johnson has a successful record of positioning an institution to not just survive, but to thrive in these challenging waters. I had the great privilege of representing the faculty on the college's presidential search committee. And when the committee first met with Dr. Johnson, his understanding and commitment to the core mission of the college was clear. The depth and breadth of his knowledge of our institution is impressive. He is a consensus builder, committed to student success and new approaches to teaching and learning. As a passionate advocate of the core mission of the community college, he has strong beliefs and an equally strong commitment to ensuring that our students receive a quality education. Dr. Johnson, on behalf of the faculty, we look forward to working with you and warmly welcome you back to Cuyahoga Community College. We ask that you continue to support the creative and intellectual commitments that define good teachers, to continue the legacy of academic rigor and innovative learning that we engage in with our students, and to be always willing to work with us to overcome whatever obstacles block the path ahead. In each of our lives, there are songs that provide inspiration to our work. This song chosen by Dr. Johnson, has special meaning to him. Here to sing "The Center of My Joy" is the Inauguration Chorale Ensemble, led by Ed Ridley and featuring Melva Henderson and our college provost, Dr. Belinda Miles, and Police Chief Clayton Harris.
Outstanding. Thank you for the introduction and comments, Joint Faculty Senate Chair Mary Hovanek. and Melva Henderson, and our college provost, Dr. Belinda Miles, and Police Chief Clayton Harris. Thank you. Hey, it's my pleasure now to bring to the podium a very special person in Dr. Johnson's life. Dr. Carol Cartwright's career in higher education has been distinguished by innovative teaching, pioneering research, and national leadership. She was president of Bowling Green State University from 2008 to 2011, and of Kent State University from 1991 to 2006. Her role at Kent State earned her the distinction of the first female president of a state college or university in Ohio. Prior to her presidency at Kent State, she held academic leadership roles at the University of California at Davis and at the Pennsylvania State University. Significant for today's activities is that Dr. Cartwright served at Penn State as doctoral advisor to one Alex Johnson. In the intervening years, Dr. Johnson has counted on her as a trusted mentor and friend. We're honored today to welcome her to the microphone.
Thank you and good afternoon. It is truly an honor to be invited to participate in today's important ceremony and celebration. Certainly, there are very important ceremonial parts to today's activities, but this is also a wonderful celebration. We celebrate the history and the traditions of a great institution and the quality of its leadership, past and present. We celebrate long-standing and deep community support and engagement, and strong commitment of faculty and staff to the mission of Tri-C. And we celebrate the students and their families who understand that futures truly do begin here. As noted in the introduction, I was Alex Johnson's doctoral advisor at Penn State. Actually, my husband, Dr. Phil Cartwright, was a co-advisor. So I have known Alex since 1975. That's nearly 4 decades. He also worked with us on a large federally funded research project. So we saw him as a graduate student, but we also saw him as a project team member. I haven't actually asked Alex this question, but I am quite sure that neither of us ever dreamed way back then in 1975 that either of us would become college or university presidents. It's not that we weren't committed and challenged to reach higher goals. It's not that we didn't have big, bold dreams. We were very optimistic about the future and the contributions that we could make. However, we just didn't come from backgrounds where that lofty goal of college president was anywhere on anyone's radar screen of possibilities. But thinking back, Alex Johnson's leadership qualities were present 4 decades ago at Penn State. Unquestionable integrity, intelligence, a strong work ethic, and a discipline about accomplishing goals. He showed early on that he was an innovator and a prudent risk taker. Just imagine the risk it took to come from New York City to central Pennsylvania, rural central Pennsylvania, in the mid-1970s. Alex demonstrated excellent strategic thinking skills, even as a graduate student. But what stands out the most in my memory is that he was always willing to go the extra mile to get the job done. He believed in the importance of collaboration and teamwork, and he lived those values every day. He clearly understood that we are better when we work together, and he has never lost that sense of what can be accomplished through committed leadership and teamwork. These qualities served him well as a graduate student at Penn State. They served him well as a young professional just beginning in higher education. They served him well as he moved on to positions with more significant responsibilities. They are the reason he was chosen to join an elite leadership group as an ACE Fellow in 1987. These leadership qualities have served him well in prior presidencies, right here at the Metro campus and in New Orleans and Pittsburgh, and they will serve him well as your new leader at Cuyahoga Community College. Alex, Phil joins me in extending our heartiest congratulations on your past success and our very best wishes for what we know will be significant contributions to the future success of Tri-C. Best wishes to you. And now it's my honor to introduce Dr. Walter Bumpus, who is the president and CEO of the American Association of Community Colleges. Dr. Bumpus has served as a professor in the Community College Leadership Program and as chair of the Department of Educational Administration at the University of Texas at Austin. He previously served as president of the Louisiana Community and Technical College System from 2001 to 2007, and during that time, he played a significant role in hiring Cuyahoga College Metro Campus President Alex Johnson as Chancellor of Delgado Community College in 2004. So he took Alex from us. He remains a valued friend and advisor to Dr. Johnson, and of course, he's a staunch advocate for community college education, and I am pleased to welcome Dr. Bumpus to the lectern.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today. And Carol, I want to say thank you for that wonderful introduction, I think. I was hoping maybe we could have gone a little longer without anyone picking up that when Alex went to Louisiana, I was the assistant president. I have to tell you, it's great to be back in Cleveland again. I was reminded yesterday when I flew into the city just maybe how frequently I have been to Cleveland over the last few months. I arrived yesterday, and one of the agents at the gate that I arrived in said, Dr. Bumpus, it's great to see you back in Cleveland again. Are you going to do work with Tri-C? I thought, okay. That doesn't happen. I fly into a lot of cities. I don't often get that. I got to my hotel yesterday to check in, and the lady at the front desk said, Dr. Bumpus, it's great to have you back in Cleveland. Are you giving another speech at Tri-C? I said, well, not really, but I'm going to be there for an inauguration. And then finally, and Dr. Johnson, I think you can maybe witness and have some evidence about how important this college is to this community. This morning, I had room service delivered, and the bellhop said, Dr. Bumpus, it's great to have you back in Cleveland. But he also said, do you know that new president over there, Dr. Johnson? I said, yeah. I said, it's interesting you should ask. I've known him for about 25 years, and you're really getting a terrific leader. I've also known the former president for more years than she would probably want me to say at this particular point in time. And I said, you guys have really been blessed in Cleveland with great leadership. I have to say to you, though, that my reception this time is a little bit warmer than it was back in 2004, when I came here with a group from Louisiana to basically vet Dr. Johnson, and a lot of folks who have been friends of mine for a long time weren't real friendly that trip. And I went to the Metro campus, and I reminded the mayor that I swear I first met him. And I didn't think he would remember. Then lo and behold, what does he say today? Dr. Bumpus, or at least they stole him from us. Then the state senator mentions they stole him from us. And then, Carol, you had to mention Dr. Bumpus. I was hoping that could maybe go undetected that Dr. Bumpus was there during that period of time. But folks, it's just such a privilege and a pleasure for me to be here with you. I got to know Dr. Johnson through my dear friend, lifelong friend, Dr. Jerry Sue Thornton, when I was president at Brookhaven College and Dr. Johnson came on board here as president of the Metro campus. And truthfully, I knew Alex had greatness in his future, but he has far exceeded all of our expectations in terms of the success he's had in 2 or 3 other jobs since he was at the Metro campus. I don't think I give you any news today when I say to you what an extraordinary hire this board has made with selecting Dr. Alex Johnson to pass the mantle of leadership on from the very, very successful tenure that you enjoyed under Dr. Thornton. I spoke this morning to a group of folks, including the mayor, at a breakfast meeting, and I talked with them about sort of the status of community colleges nationally. We've got approximately 1,200 community colleges around the country, and we're at a point in the evolution of community colleges where over the last 18 months, we've had 274 transitions of leadership. My office tends to hear about every single one of them, and we're at a point now where we're almost hearing about one a day. But I can say before you this afternoon that in all of those transitions and where presidents have been named, and I shared this with David when we chatted about the search that was ongoing here at Tri-C, I don't think, and I can say this without exception, I've seen a finer example of transition of leadership than I've seen between Dr. Thornton and Dr. Johnson. And folks, that bodes well for your college. Why was it so successful? Lots of reasons, in my opinion. The grace in which they both approached it, your board and the way they handled it, the lack of ego on both of their parts, and the tremendous professionalism that they both exhibit every day. Not to mention that they're both bright, talented, and committed leaders, and they both share a bold vision, not only for where this college has been, and it's had a heck of a tenure as an institution, but where it can go and the future that it holds. This community deserves that. Faculty and staff expect it, students expect it, and the board expect it. For those of you that have read the book, Good to Great by Jim Collins, can I just see a show of hands if any of you have heard of the book or read the book? Okay, you've heard of level 5 leaders. Level 5 leaders, in my opinion, are leaders who care more about the organization and the institution than themselves. They embody both humility and vision as a leader. And when I started to think about Dr. Alex Johnson, that's certainly what came to mind. When I was a college professor and chairman of the Department of Ed at the University of Texas at Austin, we trained a number of folks for future presidential leadership positions. And I often refer to Collins's book, if you will, as the guide if you really want to be a successful leader, what one must focus on. And it's certainly not oneself. You don't lead an institution like a Tri-C if you're certainly focused on oneself. And I think you guys have picked the right person. Alex is a true visionary, but he's also an academic scholar with tremendous people skills. He has a lot of compassion for the students that this college will serve and that will be served. And he has sensitivity to the business needs of this community. You'll also find Alex to be a man of supreme integrity, a great father, a great husband, a great son, and truly a great family person. We could go on and on talking about the wonderful ways that Alex dresses. He's often referred to as maybe the best dressed college leader in America. And I heard the senator talk about his swag. All of that is true, but that's not what makes him the great leader that he is. He is a great leader because of his commitment. And when I think about the Tri-C, and someone talked today about leadership and innovation, so true. That's something that everyone thinks about when they think about Cuyahoga Community College. It's been a staple of your history, and it'll certainly be, I think, embodied in your future. I've often said by any metric used that Cuyahoga Community College is one of the finest, if not the finest, community college in the country. No matter by what metric you use, be it innovation, leadership, student success, Tri-C is mentioned in your top 2 or 3 colleges, and it's no coincidence that you've also had stable leadership. To look at the history of this institution and to think that you've only had 4 leaders now, that's amazing. There are some cities that have gone through 4 leaders in 10 years. So when you start to think about the stability of this institution, the leaders you've had, you should feel very, very good about this institution and know that you've put it in good hands. The good news is that even in these challenging times where we have perhaps more vision than we perhaps need on some occasions, more needs than we perhaps need, and fewer resources, leadership makes the difference. And this is where I think Dr. Johnson will excel. Those of you in this community can count on Cuyahoga Community College to be that gateway to what I call the middle class for the citizens in this community. And I don't have any question but that Dr. Johnson will continue to lead this institution with dignity and with class. Our association released a report 2 years ago entitled Reclaiming the American Dream. The focus of the report is about developing strategies to ensure that a student not have to be relegated to a certain standard of living or future based on the zip code in which he or she was born. And believe it or not, folks, that's very, very true in our communities these days. So it's very, very critically important that a community college play a visionary role in making a difference in the lives of each one of our students that we touch and that we serve. In closing today, I join the board, the citizens of this community, the staff and faculty of this college, the students, my dear friend, Dr. Jerry Sue Thornton, in wishing Dr. Thornton and his family the very best as he embarks upon his new role as president of Cuyahoga Community College. I am very confident that he will deliver on this promise, but I say to you, he's going to need all of you, not just at this inauguration and the great support you see up here, but he's going to need all of you, your support, your understanding. There will be good days, there will be bad days, there will be challenging days, and he's going to need you standing side by side with him. So folks, I wish you Godspeed, and Dr. Johnson, I wish you the best, my friend.
Little town to feel.
Thank you to Brenda Pongrantz, Interim Associate Dean of Creative Arts, and Emanuela Fischioni, Director of Arts Prep, for the lovely rendition of Elton John's Home Again, another song that has special meaning for Dr. Johnson. We next welcome to the lectern someone who has had a profound impact on Cuyahoga Community College and on its new president. Of course, that would be Dr. Jerry Sue Thornton, who served as president of Tri-C from 1992 until this past June and oversaw unprecedented growth in the college's student body, programs, services, and facilities. Shortly after her arrival, she hired Alex Johnson as president of this campus. She remains connected to the college as president emeritus. Please join me in greeting Dr. Thornton as she offers remarks.
As Cuyahoga Community College brings a close to the celebration of its 50th anniversary in December, it is fitting and appropriate for us to reflect on the leadership legacy of this institution. This institution has a stunning history where students, faculty, staff, and administrators have played a key leadership role in shaping this institution to be one of the greatest in higher education. Dr. Johnson has played a key role in the history of this institution. You have already heard when he served as president of the Metropolitan Campus, he served here for 10 years before Dr. Bumpus stole him. When he worked here, he worked very collaboratively with our faculty and staff, helping this campus reach new heights in its service to students and service to the community. During that time, he led with a great deal of passion for learning, especially when he created the learning communities here at the Metropolitan Campus, working in partnership with the faculty and staff of this campus. Perhaps that is but one of the reasons that Cuyahoga Community College's Board of Trustees selected Dr. Johnson, based on a very inclusive and engaged search process that led him back home and led him to become the 4th president of Cuyahoga Community College. Dr. Johnson, the board saw in you greatness. They saw in you an educational leader, a collaborator, an advocate for students. They saw in you a person who would create transformational experiences and opportunities for our students. They saw in you an opportunity to take this college to new heights in collaboration and partnership with your faculty and your staff. You know, this college will become, under Dr. Johnson's leadership, a magnet for talent by faculty who are stimulating and creative, and who will indeed engage our students in new academic ways. He will help to recruit great staff and administrators for the future. And for those who are here, honoring and recognizing their contributions all along the way. We are so delighted that we have back at Cuyahoga Community College a devoted academician and a seasoned leader, a leader who has accepted the call to bring new opportunities to this institution. We welcome him back, and we charge him with leadership over the 50 next years to come. We know that he will bring teaching and learning to new heights here at Cuyahoga Community College, and indeed shape the futures of many of our students. It is my pleasure today to pass the torch by inviting back to the podium the chair of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Jerry Kelsheimer, to complete the investiture and to bring to you the 4th president of Cuyahoga Community College. Best wishes, Dr. Johnson.
Now my pleasure to begin the part of today's ceremony that we all came here to celebrate, the investiture. Dr. Johnson, would you please come forward? Dr. Johnson, by the power vested in me as chairman of the Board of Trustees of Cuyahoga Community College District, and in accordance with the Community College law of the state of Ohio, the Board of Trustees has appointed you to serve as the fourth president of Cuyahoga Community College District. Your acceptance of this responsibility since the announcement of your appointment 5 months ago and the exemplary manner in which you have carried out your duties of the office of the president since July lead us to this inaugural ceremony and your formal investiture as the college's fourth president. Please raise your right hand and repeat the oath of office after me. I, Alex Johnson,
I, Alex Johnson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States of America,
to support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Ohio,
and to faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
and to faithfully discharge to the best of my ability
my duties and responsibilities as president of the Cuyahoga Community College.
my duties and responsibilities as president of Cuyahoga Community College.
I solemnly swear to carry out the policies of the Board of Trustees,
I solemnly swear to carry out the policies of the Board of Trustees,
to serve and protect the best interests of the college,
to serve and protect the best interests of the college,
its students and staff, and to provide leadership
its students and staff, and to provide leadership
to the benefit of the citizens of Cuyahoga County and Northeast Ohio.
to the benefit of the citizens of Cuyahoga County and Northeast Ohio.
Dr. Thornton, would you join us? Dr. Johnson, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I present and bestow upon you this official medallion, which is the seal of Cuyahoga Community College. It's a tangible recognition of the authority vested in you by the Board of Trustees. It is a symbol of your leadership today and recognition of the fulfillment of the promise of your leadership yet to come. This medallion is indicative of the high office which you hold at Cuyahoga Community College District and is a symbol of the confidence vested in you by the Board of Trustees as president.
Thank you, sir.
Hood. I hereby formally invest you, Dr. Alex Johnson, as the fourth president of Cuyahoga Community College District.
Thank you, Chairman Kelsheimer. I accept and wear proudly this medallion as a symbol of the responsibility invested in me by the Board of Trustees and of the leadership of this great institution.
Mary Hovanek, Chair of the Joint Faculty Senate Council, please join us to present the faculty mace.
No, I can't get it out. Hold on.
It's the sword in the stone.
I can't get it out. I guess
You might want the president to lift it out for
Can
you.
you get it out of there? I don't have the strength.
Just push it back.
You know what? I'm going to do it this way. I think we have to put it back down.
Okay, yeah, put it back
Stick
down.
it back down there.
Yeah, there it is.
Thanks.
Okay, you got it.
We only do this every 20 years, you see.
The College Mace represents the strength of the faculty, their dedication to teaching excellence, their concern for their students, and their loyalty to the college and its mission. This mace symbolizes the support of the faculty to the college, the board, and its leadership. I am pleased, Dr. Johnson, to present to you at this time the Faculty Mace as a symbol of the faculty's recognition of you as the academic and administrative leader of this college, and as a token of working with you as our academic colleague, our leader in administrative and academic matters, and the Chief Executive Officer for the Cuyahoga Community College District.
Professor Hovanek, I accept this mace as a symbol of the faculty's support of the president, and I thank you for your confidence and trust. I hereby return this mace to you as leader of the faculty, as a symbol of the trust and respect the president has for the faculty, and as a recognition of the central role faculty play in the instructional life of the college.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my extreme pleasure to present to you Dr. Alex Johnson, the fourth president of Cuyahoga Community College District.
God bless you, my brother. God bless you. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just a humble man, a product of my environment. I was born in New York City to a mom who was just 17 years old at the time. And when we returned to Concord, North Carolina, a little segregated southern community, my grandparents, my maternal grandparents and my aunts took care of me while my mom returned to school to complete her high school education. My grandparents, I think, truly exemplified who I am ultimately as a leader. My mom helped me understand the importance of perseverance. My dad taught me significant work ethic, but it was my grandparents that really defined, in part, who I am today. My desire certainly was to teach. I went on to a small, state-supported, historically black institution in North Carolina, Winston-Salem State University, where I majored in teacher education. I began my teaching career in early childhood centers in New York City, but soon decided that I'd like to teach at the college level. So when I completed my doctoral degree at Penn State University, I began as a faculty member at Bowling Green State University. I then heard about an opening at my alma mater, Winston-Salem State University. At that institution, I ultimately became a professor at the age of 35 and a chief academic officer or vice chancellor for academic affairs when I was 36. I never coveted a presidency. I just always felt that it was the logical next step for me. If I developed fully as a professional, that would come eventually. Well, I'm in my fourth presidency now. During my second year as Chancellor of Delgado, an event happened that I believe shaped me as a leader. The community was hit by Hurricane Katrina, and I had the responsibility of gathering a small band of committed and loyal individuals, and we knew that our first responsibility was to gather our students, as many as possible, and to figure out a way they could continue their education, even though we knew that the college would be closed for a while as a result of the damage. We found 10,000 students from the 17,500 that were enrolled before Hurricane Katrina, and they were scattered throughout the United States. And we encouraged them to go to local community colleges, four-year institutions, and get back into their classwork, if at all possible. And they did. As a result of Hurricane Katrina, there's nothing at this particular moment in time that can deter me. No challenge, no barrier can affect me now, because quite honestly, as a result of Hurricane Katrina, I believe I've seen it all. Family is very important to me, and of course one of the main reasons why I returned to Cleveland and to Tri-C. My wife Daphne and I have been married for over 40 years, and we have two great children, Kim, who actually works here at Tri-C, and my son Nakia, who is a mounted police officer in the Metro Parks. We are blessed with two great grandbabies. Ruby Louise is our oldest, and she turned 6 back in October. And the newbie is little Rory. He was born this past July, and he is making great strides also. So we're excited about being close to them and having them more often in our lives. It's an honor for me to return as the 4th president of Cuyahoga Community College. I get to follow in the footsteps of 3 great presidents. It's important to continue the great foundation that they've already established. We have to continue to be laser focused on not just access, but also on success. During Dr. Thornton's inauguration, she introduced the dream catcher. I know that we can build upon the symbolic nature of the dream catcher by ensuring that when students get to us, we can put wings on those dreams and allow those individuals to take flight. And that is one of the reasons why I am so excited and proud to be the president of Cuyahoga Community College.
Wow. Good afternoon. And I must apologize to my son and daughter-in-law. Unfortunately, I got little Rory's birth month wrong. He was actually born on June 20th and not July, as I indicated in the video. But what an extraordinary day in the life of Cuyahoga Community College to see all of you gathered here today to celebrate our legacy of innovation and our continuing commitment to educational excellence. So today is not just about me. It's about the transformative environment in which we see ourselves and the opportunities that we have together to promote the overall advancement of our community. I am so grateful that many of our partners are gathered here today who are from the business sector, the community, the foundations, and those who serve as public officials. And I'm delighted that you could take time out of your busy schedules to be here. I am also delighted that members of the stage party have gathered to offer prayers, remarks, and words of welcome. I'm humbled by your presence, and I look forward to our continued and joint efforts to strengthen educational attainment in the community. Dr. Cartwright, Dr. Bumpus, Dr. Thornton, I'm grateful for your very strong influence over my professional and personal development, commencing almost 40 years ago under Dr. Cartwright, who was my doctoral advisor at Penn State University. And I want to thank the faculty and the staff who are assembled here today to share in this very, very important occasion. God bless you all, and thank you for your continued support. I'm also thankful to the musicians for their renditions of some of my favorite songs. I appreciate the hard work of the planning committee listed in the program, and I will be eternally grateful to our Media Arts Department, with thanks to Mike Donato for so effectively capturing my personal journey in that video. And I must recognize also members of the Cuyahoga Community College family gathered physically in the Metropolitan Campus Auditorium, and those viewing the ceremony remotely or at our other campus centers. I want to acknowledge my great friends from Pittsburgh and from around the nation. Thank you for gathering here today. Thank you. My family is here. My wife, Daphne, of 45 years. My father, James Edward Davis, from Kannapolis, North Carolina. My daughter, Kim, son, Nakia, and his wife, my second daughter, Shamira Spivey. My grandbaby Ruby is here. Her little brother, Rory, is with Grandma Janet Spivey, Shamira's mom. My sister, Pamela Benjamin, and husband, Jerome, from Norfolk, Virginia. My sister, Angela Davis, and significant other, Keith Green, from Atlanta, Georgia. My niece, Tiana Moore, husband, Daryl, and their very energetic son, from Kannapolis, North Carolina. My nephew, Michael Mitchell, his wife, Magda, and their two beautiful babies from Bentonville, Arkansas. My brother and sister-in-law, John and Docia Banks, from Youngstown. Their daughter, my niece, Dr. Joy Banks, seated on the stage from Washington, D.C. It is a delight to lead Cuyahoga Community College at this time in its history. As I have engaged in numerous meetings with prominent leaders in our community over the past 4 months, I have been humbled by the immense outpouring of support for our institution and our mission. I have the distinct pleasure of following the path of 3 distinguished individuals who have been committed to the leadership of this great institution. Charles Chapman, our founding president, truly did the impossible in creating this college out of whole cloth. He presided over our first levy, our first day of classes, and the construction of our first campuses. Dr. Nolan Ellison, our second president, led the college to greater technological achievements and established this institution as a beacon of hope on the Great Lakes. And of course, Dr. Thornton, who served as president of Tri-C for nearly half of its history. She propelled the college to national prominence as a leader of innovation that enables students to catch dreams for the future. She developed an institution of world-class facilities and unparalleled faculty and staff. But as I reflect on my 3 predecessors, my goal is not only to follow in their footsteps, but also to build on the rich foundation of educational excellence that they have laid along the way. But this responsibility, Dr. Bumpus, arrives at a challenging time in our nation's history. The educational attainment of Americans aged 25 to 34 years old is ranked 16th among developing countries. Unless we can improve this ranking, America's ingenuity, innovation, and competitive edge are jeopardized. Without a trained and educated workforce, the nation's economic vitality may be threatened as well. And beneath the statistics, on a personal level, millions of Americans have dreams of a better future that will be deferred unless the decline in educational attainment is halted. In response to this new form of a nation at risk, the country's government and educational organizations have sounded a call to action. They have proposed that by 2020, America's post-secondary institutions will produce 10 million more graduates, an increase of 50% over 2010. Nowhere has this clarion call been heard more loudly than at the nation's community colleges, whose collective goal is to help reclaim the American dream by redesigning, reinventing, and resetting to tackle this completion agenda. At Cuyahoga Community College, we are striving to do a better job to get our students the degrees and certificates they seek in a timely manner, and then guide them toward meaningful careers or four-year universities. We are focusing on 5 key priorities to produce 13,000 more graduates, our contribution to the nation's 2020 goal. First, the mission of Tri-C has always been about educational access, but the focus on completion has been strengthened. Second, we are working more closely with employers to ensure that we are providing our students with degrees and certificates that have labor market value. Third, as the landscape of information is also changing rapidly in Greater Cleveland and around the world, we are adapting to present the college in effective and innovative ways. Fourth, we must continuously prioritize our resources for the benefit of our students. This is especially important as funding from public sources, particularly the state, becomes increasingly tenuous. And finally, of course, Tri-C has a strong legacy of collaboration and engagement with our community. That must continue to be carefully nurtured and grown as we seek increased partnerships with educational, business, government, nonprofit institutions for the benefit of our students. Undergirding these 5 priorities are the perspectives I have formed along my journey. My segregated childhood contributed to my desire to foster inclusion, fairness, and the opportunity for individual attainment at each of the institutions I have been privileged to serve. I believe in making opportunities for leadership open to all. These opportunities shape and enrich an individual's life and the future of the institution. I feel a Tri-C education must not just be about learning how to weld or care for patients or manage a business or even to succeed at college. It must be about those things, but a Tri-C education must go beyond them. We have to be about the business of preparing successful citizens who situate themselves in the larger context of society, imagine a future rooted in our past, and keenly aware of the obstacles that now perplex us. So I stand before you, a humble man, a product of his environment, raised by my parents, James and Betty Davis, to respect work and to persevere, and encouraged by my maternal grandparents, Willie and Marion Johnson, to honor educational excellence and civic engagement. I stand on their shoulders and the shoulders of so many individuals who in the past marched, sat in, and died for the freedom that I enjoy today. The question is now, are our shoulders broad enough to support subsequent generations in their quest for their dreams, for educational achievement, personal enlightenment, and transformed communities? If we can provide this foundation as the college enters its next half century, it will enable us individually and collectively to solve our nation's most pressing problems. We will lift up those less fortunate and ensure that all people, regardless of their backgrounds or life circumstances, have a chance at productive, meaningful lives. We will help them form their dreams, and then we will give these dreams wings and watch them take flight. Thank you, and God bless you for having me as your president here at Cuyahoga. God bless you all.
Dr. Johnson, thank you for your leadership to date and your leadership yet to come. We're glad to have you here. And I want to thank all of you for joining the college for this historic occasion. It's truly been my honor to be a part of this inauguration of Cuyahoga Community College's fourth president, Dr. Alex Johnson. We'd welcome you to join us at a reception in the campus center immediately following the ceremony. If you would, please remain in your seats until the procession has left the auditorium. Now I'd like to bring forward the Reverend Dr. Kenneth Chalker, Senior Pastor of University Circle United Methodist Church, to the podium for our benediction.
And now may the God who gives our new president great swag enough swag to overcome being stolen. May that same creative spirit and God that inspires our lives can give us swag and great rhythm as we follow behind the leadership of Dr. Johnson in enabling the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to become a reality in the lives of thousands and thousands of young people. Amen.